Welcome back. You are watching a healthier MetroCasting. I'm Doug Farley. We're up to the part now where we get a little motivation to get started in our physical activity. A rather large and important event for women was held recently, and a formerly large expert in weight loss and motivation was the featured speaker. MetroCasting had the only television cameras on hand. The Berwick Hospital Center's Healthy Woman program is in its 5th year now. And to celebrate, they invited a rather well-known television personality and motivational speaker to their annual dinner and health fair. Ali Vincent is best known as the first ever female winner of NBC's Biggest Loser program. And since shocking America with her 112-pound weight loss transformation 2 years ago, she's written a book and given inspirational talks at numerous events, like this one at Rolling Pines in Berwick, all across the country. She even graciously agreed to sit down with us for a one-on-one interview. All right, first of all, what'd you do with the money?
What did I do with the money? You know, I think that's really interesting when people ask me, because I never ever thought of the money, and quite frankly, The Biggest Loser doesn't have to give it to you until like 90 days after the finale date, and I think I got it on the 89th day. So, but you know what it did allow me to do, and I think that it was you know, a blessing in disguise. What it allowed me to do was remove the last bit of weight that I had that was burdening me, and that was my debt. And so I paid off my debt, and you know, I was in quite a bit of debt because I had broken my foot a year prior to, and I lived on what I called, you know, middle-class welfare credit cards. So I paid those off. I went and bought myself a few outfits and put some in savings.
But Ali says she also walked away with more than just money.
I think the most important part of being a part of The Biggest Loser for me was really what I chose to be empowered by and embrace with everything. And I literally got to acknowledge that I may not be happy where I am, but this is where I am. And what it did was it liberated me to just kind of be like, okay, well, this is my point A. It doesn't mean that I have to stay here, you know. But prior to that, I was just like on one-track mind, and I just thought, you know what? If anything is possible, what would I want? And I let becoming the first female Biggest Loser empower me, because everybody said it couldn't be done, and I was like, what do you mean it can't be done? You know, like, yes, sir. In fact, they were going to make a male winner and a female winner had I not won in season 6 and then on. And I was like, not on my watch. I don't want to be the last season. And then they, you know, they just start giving it to people because we couldn't get the job done. And so I let it empower me to get the job done. Even when I was eliminated and they said I wasn't coming back, I was going to prove that it could be done.
Your mom was on the show with you as well. How's she doing?
My mom was on the show with me. She was my partner. I think that was probably one of the most amazing experiences we've ever had. You know, you don't spend that much time with your daughter or your mother since, you know, you're, you know, first out of the womb, she's feeding you. 24 hours a day with your mom, you know, it just really strengthened our relationship, though. She's doing amazing. She's, you know, happy as ever. She's running around with my niece and nephew, her grandkids, and that was pretty much like her goal. She's actually down to her weight loss goal and actually surpassed it. Her goal was 160, and she's down to 150. But it's more about just getting up every day and moving and living and doing more. So she's great.
Now, this is a Healthy Women's program you're here to speak at. Talk more about that. You know, getting up every day and just doing it.
Yeah, you know, since the show, I've really made it kind of like my mission, or at least it first started as my dream. I went into the guy that owns Biggest Loser, and I'm like, I want to travel the country and tell as many people as you can that you can have what you want, as long as you recognize where you are, and then you just make one choice after another. When I still think of losing over 100 pounds, and that's what I had to do to become the first female Biggest Loser, I still think it's impossible, because it feels impossible. It's 100 pounds, you know what I mean? But when I break it down to this moment, this choice, I can do anything in one moment, or 1 minute, or one choice. And what was also great once I really got that is, like, if I make a bad decision or choice in this moment, guess what? I don't have to wait till Monday. I don't have to start tomorrow again. I get to have the next moment to just re-choose. And that's what it really is, a journey of the rest of your life. And it's a journey of, you know, forgiving yourself, because there's so many things that come up in this real world. You know what I mean? Like, you run out of the time of the day, and you do this and you do that, you know, and so you do your best to plan accordingly to set yourself up to win. But even your best, sometimes, you know, things that are out of your control happen, and a lot of people will let it be like, oh, well, it's ruined at this point, so I'll go. But no, I'm here to suggest, and I'm here to prove, and I'm here to show, and I'm here to encourage that each new moment is a new choice.
As we said earlier, Ali was brought in as part of the Berwick Hospital Center Healthy Women program's 5th anniversary celebration. And she told us that being healthy is definitely a reason to celebrate.
It's been amazing. I've traveled around the country speaking at all kinds of events, you know, and Healthy Women is probably my favorite because it's just about being part of something bigger than yourself. Knowing that we're all just ordinary girls living, extraordinary lives. And what's extraordinary to you, empowers me to have extraordinary for me, and it's just like us supporting each other. And I think Healthy Women really brings communities together and lets you know that there are resources out there. There are people that feel the same way that you do. There are people that are going through what you are going through. There are people that have already been through it that can support you. This is a program that is free to everybody, which I love, because you don't have to have money to be able to get the knowledge to have the result. Here it's free. It's online, healthywomenonline.com. You can sign up for it and it'll get you, and it's a program created by women for women to live healthy, balanced lives one choice at a time. And that's me. That's what I'm a healthy woman.
As many know, the process of losing weight can be a long, tough battle. Motivation becomes a serious issue, but for those who succeed, there is sometimes one particular moment or series of events you can point to when you realize you are winning that battle. For Ali, that came around week 4 of her Biggest Loser challenge.
It wasn't until just before the 4th week, it was during the 3rd week, but before the 4th week, or maybe the 4th week, where we got these letters from home. And I remember reading them from my siblings, and at first I didn't see value in the letters, and I was just like, I don't need letters, it was this challenge, and but I was still kind of in it, like I was believing it, but I wasn't owning it yet. And I think I had to tell the truth that I had gotten so unhappy and removed myself from so much of my life, if not physically, just emotionally and 100% there, that I wasn't sure anybody would write me a letter. And that was really sad. And then when I got the letters and I read them, and they were my siblings and my mom, not my mom, my grandma and my dad and my stepmom, and it was just like all these empowering things that they had to say about me. And I know they didn't all sit down together and write it together, but they all said the same thing, so they had to be true. And so I had to own it. And it's in that moment that I quit saying, believe it, be it, I'm going to be the first female Biggest Loser, and I owned it. And I knew it with every pore of who I was that I was going to do this for me.
Motivation
is a tricky word, because is it to motivate? How do you get motivated? All of that. Motivation is getting up and choosing to do something more than you did before, finding things to go for, getting into groups, signing up for causes that are bigger than you. I always tell people, like, if you don't know how to get started, sign up for a 5K, walk it, do whatever, and sign up for a 5K that is for a reason, so that when you don't feel like getting up to train or going for a walk after dinner, that you remember that you are doing it for, is it Susan G. Komen? Is it for MS? Is it for MS? Is it for whatever? There's a million different organizations out there, because then you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, at least I get to wake up and do this. You know what I mean? And so that in itself is motivation, and that is empowering. And then once you start doing one, then you want to do another, because you go to that event, and I don't care who you are, you just are empowered. And that feeling is irreplaceable. And so you want to just have more and more and more. And so you encourage yourself to push more and more and more. And so I think it's important to set goals. That's what motivation is all about, goal setting and putting it out there, letting everybody whether you think they might think you're crazy, like, who cares? Get crazy.
Ali Vincent, a very pleasant and healthy young woman with a message of encouragement and self-confidence. She does have a book available. It's called Believe It, Be It, and it's available through her website. For information about the Berwick Hospital Center's Healthy Women's Program, you can click on the Berwick Hospital link and also the appropriate tab there. That will just about do it for this episode. We do thank you for watching. We ask you to enjoy yourself, and we'll see you again after later.